Clear here? The term biasing is applying of DC voltage to obtain fixed level of current and voltage. Resulting current and voltage, it forms operating point on the characteristics, which explains that there will be proper amplification of the applied signal. Operating point is also called quiescent point or Q point. It is nothing but a fixed point, because for the given transistor, the Q point or the quiescent point, or it is also called as bias point or operating point, does not change, and hence it is called as the fixed point or the quiescent point. This is the characteristics curve that is obtained as a graph of current versus voltage, that is collector current versus collector to emitter voltage, IC versus VCE. When we plot the graph of IC versus VCE for different values of base current, as you can see here students, this is IB equal to 0 microampere here, then this is for IB equal to 10 microampere, and so on up till IB equal to 80 microampere. What happens here? For example, if I take for IB equal to 0 microampere, when the base current is almost 0 microampere, and as I increase the collector to emitter voltage VCE, the collector current also increases. You can see the collector current also increases, and as I further increase VCE, the collector current remains almost constant. Next, if I apply IB equal to 10 microampere, that is, if I keep the base current 10 microampere fixed, and if I vary VCE, if I change VCE, as I go on changing the collector to emitter voltage, the collector current also increases, and if I further increase the collector to emitter voltage, the collector current almost remains constant. It almost remains constant. So like this, I get the different curves for various values of base current, from ranging from 0 microampere to 80 microampere. Okay. Now on this characteristic curves, I have the vertical here horizontal line. This is the IC max, maximum collector current. Okay, I can draw here at around 25 milliampere. Then similarly, I can also draw the VC max. This is the maximum collector to emitter voltage. Here I have drawn with a dashed line. Then there is this dashed line which indicates the maximum value of power. Maximum value of power. Power is nothing but product of current and the voltage. Right. Now, when we have this characteristic curve, then the region below this IB equal to 0 microampere, region below IB equal to 0 microampere is called as the cutoff region. It is called as cutoff region because the collector current is 0. Collector current is 0 in this region below IB equal to 0 microampere. Okay. Now, when it is cut off, the transistor is in off condition and the collector current is 0. If we consider the region behind this VCE, this is VCE saturation region, this dashed line, vertical line, whatever I have indicated. So if I consider the region behind this VCE saturation region, then it is called as this saturation region. Saturation region because the collector current is maximum. Collector current is maximum, it is saturation, then hence it is called as the saturation condition. Maximum collector current or maximum current obtained behind this VCE saturation region. Now, in between the saturation region and the cutoff region, it is called as the active region. So below this is the region for saturation, this is the region for cutoff, and in between these two, that is the middle portion. The middle portion, whatever you are seeing, is called as the active region or the linear region. Active region or the linear region. Let us consider in detail about the characteristic curves. Here, there are different operating points shown. You can see the various points, operating points, that is A, C, B, D. These are the various operating points obtained on the characteristics curve of the collector current versus collector to emitter voltage. If I consider this point A, then this point A is that when the bias voltages are 0. That is when the DC bias voltages are 0 volts, then I get collector current 0, VCE also 0. Both are 0. IC is 0, VCE is also 0. And hence I get this point A, which is at the nearer to the origin. Okay. Then at this region, we are not getting any current, we are not getting any voltage also. That is at the region of point A. And when I come to point C here, that is operating point C. So it is also nearer to the region of 0 collector current and 0 collector to emitter voltage. And you can see here, nearer to this operating point C, there is huge spreading of the IB curves. Okay, IB curves, there is a spreading. You can see the spread of the IB curves, that is base current curves are spreading here at this region nearer to the operating point C. Because of this, what is happening is there is non-linearity in the output. Because of the spreading of these base current curves, there is no linearity, and hence the output obtained is non-linear or it is distorted. That is for the operating point C. Now when we come to operating point B, that is in the middle portion, in the exactly central portion, operating point B, this is called as the active region. This is the active region. So this operating point B is the point where we have the amplification of the positive and negative portion of the applied signal properly. There is proper amplification of the positive and negative portion of the applied signal, right? And output obtained is also linear. There is no distortion when the operating point is at point B. When the operating point is at point B, and hence this operating point B is called as the best operating point. This operating point B is called as the best operating point because at this point there is constant gain. Gain is also constant. That is, ratio of output voltage to input voltage is constant at this operating point B for the entire range of the applied input signal, and hence it is the best operating point. When we consider the point D here, so this point D is again nearer to the maximum value of VCE. This is VCE max, this region here. Okay, it is nearer to the VCE max and P max, power max. Power is also maximum. Because of this, the some portion of the applied signal will not go beyond the maximum level. It will be below the maximum level, right? We will not get proper amplification. Proper amplification of the applied signal will not happen when the operating region is at point D. When the operating region is at point D, proper amplification of the applied signal will not take place. Clear, students? So like this, there will be some distortion also when the operating point is at point D. Clear here? So these are the various operating points, that is operating point A, C, B, and D. So among this, which is the best operating point? The best operating point is, yes, which is the best operating point here? Yes, students? Which is the best operating point?
Point B.
Point B is the best operating point. The reason is the gain is constant for the entire range of the applied input signal, and there is no distortion also, and hence this point B is called as the best operating point. The biasing circuit is designed to set the device operation for these points, that is A, B, C, and D points. Cutoff region is below IB equal to 0 microampere, and saturation region is, that is, behind the VCE less than VCE saturation. If BJT device, now we can operate the BJT devices or the BJT transistor, we can operate in this region also, that is in saturation region, in cutoff. But what will happen is, if you operate the transistor in saturation region or in cutoff region, the lifespan, the lifetime of the transistor will decrease, and there will be damage to the transistor. There will be damage to the transistor if we operate the transistor in saturation region or in the cutoff region. That is why it is better always to operate the transistor in the active region, okay, instead of operating the transistor in saturation and cutoff region. Okay. If no bias is used, the device will be completely off. If no biasing is applied, device will be completely off. Because of this, what will happen? Zero current and zero voltage will be there in the transistor, and Q point is formed at point A. Q point is at point A, that is here at this point. It is necessary to bias a device so that we can obtain proper values of current and voltage, and the entire range of input signal is amplified. For point B, if signal is applied to the circuit, current and voltage will change, and device will properly amplify both positive and negative portions of the input signal. If you are considering at point B, proper amplification of both positive and negative portion of input signal will take place. Point C, what happens? Change in the positive and negative variation of the output signal, but peak to peak value is limited by its closeness to the VC equal to 0 volts and IC equal to 0 milliampere. For point C, it is nearer to IC equal to 0 milliampere and VC equal to 0 volts, and hence because of this, what is happening is there is non-linearity because the spacing between IB curves is rapidly changing in this region. Therefore, what is the conclusion? It is preferable to operate where gain of device is constant to ensure that proper amplification over the entire range of input signal is same. Point B is a region of linear spacing. If we consider point B, there is linear spacing between the base current curves, and therefore more linear operation will occur when we operate the transistor in this region of point B, this point B region. Point D sets the device operating point near maximum voltage and power level, and hence output voltage swing in the positive direction is limited, it is decreased because of the maximum voltage not exceeding this limit. Right? If we consider the point D here, it is nearer to the maximum value of VC max, and hence the positive portion of input signal will not go beyond this VC max. It is always less than the VC max. Hence amplification will also be less. If the magnitude of output is less, amplification is also less. Because what is the gain? Gain is output voltage by input voltage. If output voltage is less, gain is also less. Gain is in the output voltage is in the numerator. Correct. If output voltage is less, gain is output by input. If output is less, gain is also less. If output is more, gain is also more. Is it not? Point B is the best operating point in terms of linear gain and largest possible voltage and current swings. Sometimes what will happen, students, if the temperature changes, the leakage current will also increase, and the current gain, that is beta, will also be affected because of rise in temperature. Here there comes a term called as stability factor or stability. Stability factor means how much is the change in the operating point due to change in temperature. That is called as a stability factor. Okay, that is, the network design must provide proper temperature stability so that temperature changes result in minimum change in the operating point. So if there is change in temperature, change in leakage current, then there is leakage current change and hence change in the operating point also. That is, the circuit will get affected. The circuit will get affected because of change in temperature. So we have to always see that the change in temperature is minimum so that the circuit does not get affected. Stability factor, yes, indicates degree of change in operating point due to temperature variation. Operation in the cutoff, saturation, and linear regions of the BJT transistor are indicated as follows here. So when the transistor will operate in cutoff region, when the transistor will operate in saturation region, and when it will operate in the linear region. Okay. For what values of DC voltages the transistor will be in cutoff, in saturation, and in linear region. That is highlighted in the next part. We can see here, if we want to operate the transistor in linear region, that is active region, then base emitter junction of the transistor should be forward biased and base collector junction should be reverse biased always. If we want to operate the transistor in cutoff region, base emitter junction should always reverse biased and base collector junction should also be reverse biased. If we want to operate in saturation region, then base emitter junction should be forward biased and also the base collector junction should be forward biased. These are the three regions of operation for any transistor, that is linear region, cutoff region, and saturation region. For linear region, base emitter junction should be forward biased, base collector reverse biased. Cutoff region, base emitter junction reverse biased, base collector reverse biased. Saturation region, base emitter junction should be forward biased and base collector junction should also be forward biased. Clear, students? Next, we will move on to the configurations, various configurations. There are different types of circuits considering the transistor. There's fixed bias circuit, emitter bias circuit, voltage divider bias circuit, okay, collector feedback bias circuit. There are various types of transistor circuits. Let us study these different transistor circuits one after the another. So this is the first among those circuits. It is called as fixed bias circuit or fixed bias configuration. You can see in this circuit, in the fixed bias configuration, let us first study the circuit. How are the components connected in the fixed bias configuration? Before going into the components, let me tell you, friends, in the fixed bias configuration, the base current is fixed. The base current is almost constant. It will not change. The base current will not change for a given value of VCC. For the given value of VCC, the base current will not change, and hence it is called as fixed bias configuration. Right? Fixed bias configuration is a circuit in which the base current will not change for the given value of VCC. Note that for given value of VCC, the base current will not change, and hence this circuit is called as fixed bias circuit or fixed bias configuration. For this circuit, the base resistance is connected here to the base part of the transistor, right? Collector resistance is connected to the collector of the transistor, RC. Then these two resistances are shorted and connected to VCC. That means VCC is connected to RB and VCC is also connected to RC, to both. Okay, it is just shorted and connected to VCC. Then emitter terminal is grounded. Note that students, in fixed bias configuration, the emitter terminal is always grounded. In fixed bias configuration, emitter terminal is always grounded. Okay, it is connected to ground. Then we have coupling capacitors. These are called as coupling capacitors connected at the input and output terminals. We are applying the input signal to base of the transistor through this capacitor, and hence these are called as coupling capacitor. And we are obtaining the output, or we are capping the output. We are taking the output from this capacitor connected to collector terminal. Okay, so this is also called as the coupling capacitor. There are two coupling capacitors, C1 and C2. Okay, now this is all about the circuit. Now after knowing about the circuit details here, what is fixed bias configuration, what are the components, RB, RC, coupling capacitor C1, C2, emitter terminal grounded, then this is base emitter voltage VBE, it is always 0.7 volts for a transistor, right? Then collector emitter voltage is positive negative here, VCE, collector to emitter voltage. The current flowing through base terminal is IB, current flowing through collector terminal is IC. Okay, so these are the different parameters which are been shown on the circuit here, in the circuit here. Now once we consider this circuit, next is we have to analyze this circuit. Okay, now whatever analysis we are doing here is DC analysis. That means we are applying the AC input signal. AC input signal is not pure AC. It has some DC value in it. Some DC voltage is also present along with the AC voltage that we are applying as the input to the transistor circuit here, fixed bias circuit here. Here what analysis we are carrying out is the DC analysis. Later on we will be taking up the AC analysis also, but in this module we will be highlighting the DC analysis of the various circuits. Okay, so when we want to perform the DC analysis, what happens to the capacitors, that we have to see here. Okay, so for DC signal, if we are applying a DC portion of the AC applied input signal to the circuit, what happens to the capacitors, right? If we want to know that what happens to the capacitors, then we have to consider the formula for the reactance, capacitive reactance. What is the equation for the capacitive reactance, students? Capacitive reactance is given by what formula? XC. XC is given by what formula? XC is equal to 1 over omega C. 1 divided by omega C. Right? 1 divided by omega C. Okay. Okay, it is 1 divided by omega C here. Omega C. Okay, omega. Right. 1 divided by omega C. Okay, so that is nothing but what, students? Omega is 2 pi f, so I can write it as 1 divided by 2 pi fc. Okay, 2 pi fc, 2 pi fc. Okay, now here for DC signal, what is the frequency, students? What is DC signal? DC signal is the one which amplitude is constant. Okay, the signal is constant, that we call as the DC signal, is it not? Now for the DC signal, what is the frequency, students? AC signal is alternating signal, that is the voltage is changing continuously with respect to time, that is called as the AC AC signal, alternating signal. DC signal, what is the frequency? Can anybody tell me frequency of the DC signal? Yes, frequency of the DC signal is how much? Anyone? Yes?
0, sir.
Yes, please. Louder, little
0,
bit.
0.
0. Very good. So DC signal frequency is 0 because it is fixed. It is constant. It is a constant signal. It is not varying. It is not alternating. So the frequency of the DC signal is 0. It is 0. Okay. As the DC signal frequency is 0, if I substitute f is equal to 0 in this equation, so what will be the value of xc then? Xc will be equal to 1 divided by 0, 1 divided by 0, because f is 0, 1 divided by 0. 1 divided by 0 means that will be infinity. That will be infinity. Right? So here 1 divided by 0 will obtain it as infinity. So 1 divided by this will get as infinity. So I'll write it as infinity here. Infinity. Okay. So that means infinity means it is maximum reactance. Maximum reactance. So as the reactance is maximum, therefore the impedance or the resistance is very high. So when the resistance is very high, what happens to the capacitance? Right? What happens to the capacitance here when impedance is very high? Right? Impedance is very high, resistance is very high. So resistance is very high means what happens to the current flowing here? Current flowing will be how much? When resistance is very high, infinite resistance, current will be how much? Yes, current will be how much, students? Current will be how much? Yes. When resistance is infinite, what happens to the current? Current will be how much?
0.
0. Very good. So current will be 0 because infinite resistance. Resistance is very high. Resistance is infinite. So current will be 0. So that is why these capacitors are shown as open circuited. Are you following here, students? Xc is equal to 1 by omega c, that is 1 upon 2 pi fc. As frequency is 0 for DC signal, so Xc will be equal to infinity. 1 upon 0 means infinity. So infinite impedance or infinite reactance means 0 current. So as it is 0 current, the capacitors are shown as open circuited. That is what it is shown in the next figure here. You can see here in the next figure we have for DC analysis, the capacitors are shown as open circuited. So there is a open circuit in the capacitors connected at input and output. This C1 is open circuited, C2 is also open circuited, and this VCC is shown separate. VCC is shown separate. Okay, so that we are separating the input and output portion. VCC is same for both connected to RB and also to RC, but it can be separated also because it is the same voltage. It is shorted, it is the same voltage. So I am applying this VCC separately to RB and VCC separately to RC. Clear, students? Then I get the current IB flowing through the base terminal, current IC flowing through the collector terminal. Okay, so because of this, what is happening here? So this is the circuit what we are getting here. Okay, for the fixed bias circuit for DC analysis. Now we have to analyze this circuit. What happens in the input section and what happens in the output portion of this particular circuit. Okay, DC equivalent circuit. This is called as DC equivalent of the fixed bias circuit. That is for DC analysis, the capacitors become open circuited. Remember always for DC analysis, the capacitors become open circuit and hence they have to be shown as open here. C1 is open circuited, C2 is also open circuited. Now let us apply the analysis here. First we will consider the base to emitter loop, this loop. base to emitter. Base to emitter. This is VCC base terminal and emitter terminal. If I consider this base to emitter terminal, the transistor looks like this. I am considering only the input portion. Consider this portion from VCC to resistance RB, IB, VBE, emitter, ground. This portion, input portion. When I consider the input portion of the circuit, then what will be the equation? Let us write the equation for this, for input portion. So what will be the equation? See here, if I take it clockwise here, right, this is negative to positive. Okay, negative to positive. Let us write the equation VCC. Then current is flowing here. Current entering is positive. Current leaving is negative. Wherever the current enters, it should be taken as positive. Wherever the current leaves, that should be taken as negative. Okay. So here also current entering is positive. Current entering is negative. Positive, negative, VBE. Now we have to write the KVL equation for this loop, input loop. Now if I write the KVL equation for this input loop, what we'll get? Negative to positive plus VCC. So it is negative to positive plus VCC plus VCC, okay, plus VCC. Then what else we have? Positive, negative, decrease in energy, okay, minus IB RB. The current flowing is IB, base current. Okay, current into the base terminal is base current, IB. So positive to negative, decrease in energy, minus IB RB. So it is minus IB RB, decrease in energy, IB RB, IB RB, okay, minus IBRB, right, minus IBRB, then minus positive to negative, minus VBE, decrease in energy, minus VBE, minus VBE, minus VBE is equal to 0, is equal to 0. Okay, students, so it is what we are getting here, IBRB, okay, IB RB, this is RB, right? Then we have minus VBE is equal to 0, is equal to 0. Okay, this is the equation. Now we have to write the equation for IB here. So if I want to write the equation for IB, then what I get? IB RB will take it to the other side. So I get VCC minus VBE minus VBE is equal to IBRB, is equal to IBRB, is equal to IBRB. Okay. Now what will be the equation for IB then? What will be the equation for IB? Yes, equation for IB if I write, so this is IBRB. Okay. Now arrange the terms for IB. If I arrange the terms for IB, then I get, therefore IB will be equal to, IB will be equal to what, students? What will be the equation for IB here? IB is equal to, IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB, So this is the equation that we get for IB. IB is equal to VCC minus VBE divided by RB. Okay. So this equation we got for the input loop. This is for input loop. How we got this equation? That is negative to positive plus VCC, positive to negative minus IBRB, positive to negative minus VB is equal to 0. So if I solve for the base current, IB will be equal to VCC minus VBE by RB. This is for the base emitter loop, that is input loop. Next we will consider for the output loop. This is the input loop from VCC through RB, through IB, through VBE, emitter, ground. Then if I consider the output loop, that is output path, from VCC through RC through VCE, emitter terminal to ground. If I consider this output path, then what will be the equation, students? That is, let us consider the circuit there. Collector emitter loop. This is how the circuit is redrawn. VCC I have shown as positive negative. This VCC, you can see here, this is VCC here. So it is positive negative, okay. So this is how it has to be shown, positive negative, right? The terminals are positive is connected to RC, then negative to the ground. Clear? So if I redraw the circuit like this for the collector emitter loop, then again I have to write the equation for the collector emitter loop, KVL equation. Now we know that collector current is beta into IB. IC is beta times IB. We know this equation, correct? correct? Now let us write the equation, KVL equation for the output loop. If I want to write the KVL equation for the output loop, then how it will be? I will go from here, that is plus VC, negative to positive, plus VCE, increase in energy, then minus negative to positive plus ICRC, positive to negative minus VCC equal to 0. So let us write the equation here. What will be the equation, students? So it is, first one is what voltage? Negative to positive, increase in energy. From this point I am starting, from ground here, negative to positive, increase in energy, plus VCE, it is plus VCE, plus VCE, plus VCE. Okay, then next what we have, negative to positive, increase in energy, negative to positive, increase in energy, so it is plus ICRC, plus ICRC. Okay, so it is plus ICRC plus ICRC, right? Then next, positive to negative, supply VCC, positive to negative, decrease in energy, it is minus VCC, minus VCC, minus VCC is equal to 0. Okay. Now we have to get the equation for VCE here, conductor to emitter voltage. Therefore, the equation for VCE, VCE will be equal to VCC. This, if I take this minus VCC to the RHS, it will be plus VCC. Is VCC. Okay. Then plus ICRC. If I take it to the other side, it will be minus ICRC. Minus ICRC. Minus ICRC. Okay. This is the equation for VCE, collector to emitter voltage. When I consider the output portion, output path. If I consider the output portion or the output path, output loop, then I get the equation VC is equal to VCC minus ICRC. Clear, students? So this is what the equation we have got here. VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC. Right? This is for the collector emitter loop. So then what is VCE? VCE is collector to emitter voltage. Collector, this is VCE, collector to emitter voltage. So this voltage I can write it as collector voltage minus emitter voltage. The collector to emitter voltage, that is voltage between collector to emitter terminals, is nothing but voltage between collector to ground minus the voltage between emitter to ground. That is VCE is equal to collector to emitter voltage is the voltage between collector to ground, that is VC, minus the voltage between emitter to ground, that is VE. So this is how we write the equation. But what is VE here, students? VE, emitter terminal is grounded, is it not? Emitter terminal is grounded. So emitter terminal is ground means what will be VE, students, here? Yes, please. What will be the value of VE? Yes. VE will be how much? Yes, please. Janvi, how much will be VE here? Yes. Janvi, how much will be VE? Janvi is present. Mahadev, what here? How much will be VE? Mahadev, what here? Mahadev. Kirti Patil, Kirti, how much will be VE? Emitter is connected to ground. So what will be the value of VE, emitter voltage? Kirti. Kirti Patil. Yes, please answer. What will be the emitter voltage? Value of emitter voltage when emitter terminal is connected to ground. Prajwal Gowda. Prajwal Gowda. Prajwal Gowda. Prajwal Gowda is here. Yes. Prajwal Gowda. Prajwal Gowda. Ratan Birje. Ratan. What is the emitter voltage here? V is how much? V is 0 volts. Emitter connected to ground. Is it not? V is equal to 0 volts here because emitter terminal is connected to ground here for the fixed bias circuit. So V will be 0. What is the ground voltage? 0 volts. Yes or no? So V will be equal to 0 volts. So as V is equal to 0 volts, we have VC is equal to VC only because V is 0. And similarly, I can write VBE, base to emitter voltage. So this base to emitter voltage is nothing but voltage between base to ground minus the voltage between emitter to ground. It is VB minus VE. Okay, VB I can write it as voltage between base to ground minus voltage between emitter to ground. But V is 0 volts, therefore VB will be equal to VB. VB will be equal to VB. Okay, because this V is equal to 0 volts for fixed bias circuit. Okay, is it clear here, students? Is it clear here? Was it understood? Yes. Was this understood, students? First, we considered base emitter loop. Okay, for the fixed bias circuit, we considered the DC equivalent circuit. Then we considered the base emitter loop. Then next was the collector emitter loop. Okay, then we have written the KVL equations for base emitter loop, that is input loop, and the output loop, that is collector emitter loop. Right. So we'll consider the example in the next class. Any questions, students? Any doubts here?
Excuse me, sir.
Is it understood?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir.
Yes, please ask.
So why is gain given as output by input and not as output minus input?
No, it is the gain. Gain is nothing but the equation for gain. The concept is gain equation is always the ratio of output to input. Right? It is not the V in minus V naught or V naught minus V in. It is not the difference. Gain means how much the input signal is amplified. Ratio it is always. Okay, proportionate we have to see. Now you are applying say 5 volts of input signal. Output say you are getting 20 volts. Right? So how much proportion it has increased? 4 times. 5 into 4. We cannot do 5 minus 20, 15. That is not the way. So what is the way of doing it? How much proportionately the input has been increased at the output. Okay, output is 20 volts, input is 5 volts. So 20 divided by 5, 4. 5 fours are 20. So the input signal is increased proportionately at the output by 4 times. Ratio we have to consider, not the difference. Is it clear here? Yes,
Yes,
please.
Yes, sir.
Clear, no?
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay, fine. Any other questions, students? Yes, anybody? Any other questions? So concepts were clear here, today's class? Concepts were clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes?
sir.
Okay, fine. Right. So what are the topics of today's class, students? We have considered first the operating point. Then we have studied the fixed bias configuration or fixed bias circuit for the input section. For the output section, we have applied the KVL and we have got the equations. Right. In the next class, I will be considering this example. We'll solve few examples on fixed bias circuit. Right. And then we will move ahead with the next part, that is the next part, that is the emitter bias circuit. Okay. So we'll end the today's session here, students. Thank you.
Sir.
Yes, any doubts, students?
Sir, rule number 1 present, sir.
Rule number 1?
Sir, present.
Okay, I will mark.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Sir, roll number 28 also.
Roll number 1, roll number 22.
No, sir,
1
28.
minute, just a minute, 1 minute.